Hi, everyone. If you're watching this, it's because you have expressed some interest in becoming a member of our church, First Presbyterian Church of Monroe. And if that's the case, we're excited that you are, and we're even honored that you are even thinking about joining our church. So I wanted to answer some questions you might have and give you some instructions about next steps on what it means to become a member. So the question I have, or you might have, is why should I become a member of a church? And that's a good question. People are welcome to keep on coming and participating in the life of the church and all that the church has to offer. But in a way, I think that becoming a member is taking a step in your commitment to your faith. There are a lot of ways in our life where we take a step in commitment to things. For example, baseball. If you like baseball, you can be a fan of baseball, or you can play on the baseball team. You can't play on the baseball team unless you make a commitment to the team and show up for practice and all of those kinds of things. So that's one. How about you can audit a class in college, but unless you actually join and are accepted to the college, you can't really gain any credit or earn a degree. All right, there's another example. How about dating? You can date someone, but until you take a step of commitment to marriage, your relationship will always stay in the same kind of plane of the dating scene. All right, so maybe all of those aren't directly related to a commitment to the church, but I think a commitment to the church and becoming a member is a little bit like that. There is a commitment that you make to the FPC church, but you make a commitment to everybody else who's in the church as well, that you're interested in doing life together and walking along as a community in this faith that we share together. And when you become a member of a church, specifically FPC, there are some things that you can now participate in when you do. One is making decisions. So there are a number of decisions that all members of the church can participate in. And specifically, you can vote on the election of officers because we're a Presbyterian church and we operate on a government that's democratic in a way, a representative government, that there are people who are leaders of the church who are elected by the members of the church. So you participate in that election. You can also participate in being one of the people who are elected to leadership and offices in the church as well. You can vote on calling a pastor. So when I became the pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Monroe, there was a meeting of the congregation, and the question was, do we want Jonathan to be the pastor of the church? And thankfully, the answer was yes. And people voted that I become the pastor. But that's one of the decisions you make. You also vote on my pay. So every year when my package comes up, my compensation, the church votes on how I am compensated. Yep, you get a voice in what I get. So be kind. All right, so if the church takes on debts or they sell property, you get a voice in that too because you're part of the church. So if we take out a loan, you get a vote on whether or not we take out that loan. If we sell a piece of property that we have, you are voting on that as well. So baptism is another thing. It's one of those areas where baptism, when we believe that someone is baptized, they are baptized into a community. So one of the things that we ask people to do, parents, if they're baptizing their child, is to be a member of the church. It's a demonstration or to a commitment to the community. And your child is baptized into that community. So we want the parent to be a part of that church as well. So baptism is another thing. So those are some of the privileges and responsibilities that comes with being a member. And when you join our church, You're joining a church that's been around since 1783, which I just love. And you're joining a long line of people who have a desire to make a difference in the world and in our community in Monroe and beyond. And our mission statement as a church is discover, empowering love. So the first word, discover, means there's so much to life to discover, and especially the spiritual life. And we're on a mission to help people discover that. And we have a desire in our own lives to discover more and more. So we're a community of learners and who are curious and who want to grow and discover more about life and relationship with God. Discover, empowering. Empowering is part of our mission to be empowered in our life by God and our life together by God. But it's also to seek to empower others in different ways in which we serve in the community and inviting others to discover a deeper life as well. So empowering other people, being empowered by ourselves. And the last word is love. And one of our guiding rules is one that Jesus gave to us when someone asked Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? And Jesus said that you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So love is the guiding rule and the principle and the power behind all that we seek to do as a community together, as a church, and in the world. I think that's pretty powerful. So those are the things that we focus on in our church, and we would love for you to join in that mission. So, you still want to join? Okay, you're still sticking around to listen, and that is great. So here's the process. We'll schedule time for you to meet with some elders, a couple elders, 2 elders, and myself. We can do it by Zoom. We can do it in person. And it's a time for us to hear why you want to join, and for us to get to know you some more. You can ask us questions as well. But there are 3 main mechanisms for joining. If you are currently a member of another Presbyterian church, it's as simple as asking that other church that you're part of to send a letter to our church saying we're going to transfer that membership over to our church. That's by letter of transfer. That's one mechanism. The other is by profession of faith. So we have questions that we ask every member, and the questions are these questions. Do you profess Jesus as your faith in Jesus as Lord and Savior? 2, do you renounce evil and affirm your reliance on God's grace? And do you, 3, intend to participate actively and responsibly in the worship and mission of the church? So those are 3 questions. And when you answer an affirmative, that's your profession of faith that you give to us. And so profession of faith is one way to join as well. And if you haven't been baptized, we would schedule for a time for you to be baptized as well in the worship service. So that would be profession of faith, 2nd. And then 3rd is reaffirmation of faith, which means you were part of a church once, and not necessarily even a Presbyterian church, but you were a member of a church once. Maybe you're not, for all different kinds of reasons. You might not be a member currently at a church anymore, but you've been baptized and you're just reaffirming your faith. So it would be answering those 3 questions again. Let me just go over those 3 questions with you, and just so you understand a little bit more, think about these questions before you answer yes to all of these. The first one is, do you profess your faith in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Okay, so maybe you're all there. Maybe you aren't totally there, but you believe enough, okay? Jesus once said that all you need is the faith of a mustard seed, and a mustard seed is really not that big. So we don't expect you to be perfect in your faith. We don't expect to be perfect people. In fact, I think that's who we are. We're just a bunch of people working it out who know that we're not perfect. But you have enough faith that you can say that Jesus is someone that I want to learn from and follow. So that would be how you would answer that first question. Maybe you've been a Christian your whole life or a long time, and that's an easy one for you. Maybe you're just kind of inquiring and you're trying to figure it all out, but you have enough faith that you can say, yes, let's keep going forward with this. Second question is, do you renounce evil? I hope that's an easy one for you. Evil is not that good. It's what tears the world apart. And the second part of that is to rely on God's grace, and that's what keeps us together. So it's just a recognition that you understand that you're going to be on the side of trying to keep things together in the world, hold things together with love and with peace and with unity, all those kinds of things that are healing in this world, which our world so desperately needs. Okay, last one. Do you intend to participate actively and responsibly in the worship and mission of the church? And that means that you're involved in the life of the church, that you see yourself as part of the community of the church, and that you worship, and worship is intentional, and you're intentional about moving our mission forward together of discovering and empowering love. And because it takes a whole church. You're part of that church. So find places to serve, make worship a priority. We make it easy. And we understand that people have busy lives. Life isn't the same as it used to be when I was growing up, that there's things scheduled all during the week. So, but we want you to be able to participate and be intentional about worshiping and being involved in the life of the church. And because you're a part of our family. And we rely on each other to care for each other. So find ways to hook into the life of the church. Okay, those are the 3 questions. Are you still good? Okay, those elders who are going to meet with you are going to ask you those questions. If you can respond in the affirmative, then we are so glad. And if you need more time, that's okay too. There's no pressure at all. Now, there will be a time that will introduce you to the congregation in worship, live in person. So there is a date where we will try to introduce everyone. And there will also be a time where my wife and I will invite everyone over for a get together at our house, the Manse. You can see that, get an inside look. But don't worry, it'll be fun, and it will give us the opportunity to meet other people. So we have a good time. Okay, that's it. So all that, process all of that. And when you have finished watching this and thinking about it and you're ready to join, just contact me. You can contact me at my email at the church, which is FPC Monroe Pastor, all one word, FPC Monroe Pastor at yahoo.com. Or you can just speak to me, call the office or something like that. And I can answer any questions that you have and set you up for the next big step. So hopefully, wow, that was 13 minutes long. Longer than I thought, but thanks for watching this. And I hope that answers a lot of your questions, and blessings to you and to your family.